Lots of my colleagues are solemnly muttering about how much they respect the result. But having mouthed these words, what does their solution turn out to be? Liberal conservatism hasn't been tried enough. We need to head even further and faster to the centre. If the Tory party has a future, it's by being conservative. My strategy is simple. I don't want to put Nigel Farage, leader of a rival party, in a comfortable place. I want to put him in an uncomfortable place. I want the Tories to credibly offer conservative policies which make the existence of a rival right-wing party moot. And not just moot, but which makes their continued existence seem visibly harmful to conservative goals being achieved. But the only way that we're doing that is by talking credibly to Reform's voters. And we haven't even started to respect them, never mind seriously address why they no longer vote for us. We satisfy ourselves by insulting them, denigrating the party, trying to throw mud, makes us feel better. But the reality is we're pushing more and more of our own people away. It's why, if we are serious about continuing to exist, let alone win elections, we need credibility. Not just the veneer of right-wingery to win the base, only for the liberal reality to emerge under the pressure of scrutiny and challenge. That's what we've just tried. A cosplay of right-wingery, only for the reality to be socialism light. The voters see through it because they're not idiots. Now, you can take from the example of Britain whatever lessons you think are applicable to your own countries. I take from everything that I have heard and read about the US and so many other Western countries this painful truth. We are at a moment of crisis. The chickens have come home to roost, and all the things that we conservatives have warned about for half a century and failed to stop are now upon us. The palpable sense of discontent, a crisis of meaning, the dissolution of the ties and bonds of loyalty and society, which formerly bound us into a cohesive, organic unit, the loss of faith in politics, the descent of formerly stable polities into states we once upon a time would have sneered at as being banana republics. Even in our countries, things worse than stopping you speak in Brussels happen. Political dissidents are persecuted by lawfare, with all the loss of faith that brings in its wake for democratic politics and elections. Now, the efforts made to delegitimize us seemingly have, in the US of all places, gone beyond the merely rhetorical that we're used to seeing in the UK. It should not be a custodial matter to contemplate public service. Yet, I know American politicians who've had to tell their children, if I'm arrested, it won't be because I've done something wrong. What has brought us to this place? The answer is liberalism. It's a creed now so self-righteous and so intolerant that anyone evil enough to disagree with it risks actual imprisonment. Yet liberals haven't been winning elections. The people have voted for conservatives. But the problem is, they are the ones who've delivered liberalism. These ideas are not the irresistible truths that liberal ideologues insinuate them to be. They're highly contested ideas that we're free to dispute. And dispute them we should. They're fundamentally wrong, arising as they do from the false assumption that custom and tradition, for example, the common law, may be dispensed with in favour of solipsistic first principles rationalism articulated by educated individuals at any given moment in time. In practice, liberal conformity and uniformity leads to the cult of the self. Wealth is valued for its own sake. And where has that got us as a society? Cultural disorientation and the loss of home and belonging, that's where. The solution is conservatism, the conservatism of Roger Scruton, emphasising community, family, place, attachment, love. I'm so proud to speak to you because National Conservatives know that the preservation of a national culture is precious precisely because it unites. The most fundamental insight you offer, so well articulated by so many of the speakers I've heard at successive events, is that liberalism, both economic and social, has led us to a point of societal disintegration. My own Conservative Party, far from contesting liberal ideas, has embraced them wholeheartedly and offered no opposition. Where Thatcherism was national renewal, it was a reaction devoutly to be wished for. When it was degraded into being simple liberal economics, where the objective of personal material wealth was elevated above all else by Conservatives, it forgets what prosperity is really for. The slavish elevation of wealth as the purpose of life is fruitless and has allowed Conservatives to be caricatured as venal, selfish, and infamously nasty. We need to rediscover the why in politics, and that's not answered just with money. The Conservative surrender to social liberalism, the cult of self, of self-esteem, of self-realisation, of self-absorption, is causing our societies to fracture. We must be unashamedly the champions of family, the party of duty, of love of country, service to our people, respect for all, community, traditional culture specific to our nation, the party of home. We must fight to protect our national culture, which is precious because it unifies us and it allows us to be at home in our own country. That culture is contained in our customs, in our religion, in our traditions, in our common law, in our architecture, in our music, our arts, our educational institutions, our sporting traditions, and our constitution. These things, sadly, have not mattered to far too many of us who call ourselves Conservatives. And as we emerge from this catastrophe in the United Kingdom, every Conservative policy must be evaluated by how well it serves those fundamental objectives. So philosophically then, and politically, the choice is clear. Do we keep doing what got us into this mess, or do we change? Do we start listening and start responding? Are we going to be brave and tell the truth, or will we be timid and continue the charade? You should be listened to. Your message is right. And it has been a pleasure, as ever, to be here and learn so much from you again. Onwards. Thank you.